struggle, you dare to win, you dare to...
RSK, let it play, boy.
And you've got the cultures that J. Sainsbury's consider African in black.
Ethnicos means ethnic. So that's the reason why. So if you look at the dictionary that was published before 1962, the word ethnic, but it has to be an old dictionary. Nowadays, they want you to say that black and minority. No, it's a diss, but the word is molded its meaning, so you don't realize it's being dissed. Do you see? And so when African art is presented as ethnology, then that way they'll then say, well, it may have the elements of Cubism, but it's not Cubism, rubbish. You see, art historian Professor Roger Fry says, if you're looking at art, you analyze it as art. Absolutely. And then when you do that, then this stuff becomes the precursor to what they are
Considered African. Where are they?
Just concentrated in Central and South.
Sub-Saharan. So it's West and it's Central. There's no East, that's not Africa. Apparently that's some other part of the planet. All this stuff here has got nothing to do with Africa. Apparently all this stuff is on Mars. Right? Now the reason why they are dealing with West and they are dealing with Central is they are dealing with a racist theory called the true Negro hypothesis. And apparently, true Negroes are only in West Africa, and then their cousins, the Bantus, are in Central Africa.
Very divisive.
Does that make sense? And consequently, the only African history considered to be African is Negro and Bantu history. So the people of East Africa, according to that same racist theory, they're not Negroes at all. They are Hamites, they are Cushites, they are Danakils, they are Fozzie Wozzies. Yes, the term Fozzie Wozzies appear in the textbooks. And the people in Southwest Africa, they are Hottentots, they are Bushmen. Consequently, they are not Negroes. So according to this version of events, if you make Black History West and you make it central, what are you making the main story in Black history? Slavery. You get it? And in that way, that becomes your history. And then people will look around at stuff like this, and then they conclude that African history is all crap. And so consequently, black people come down to this room and then leave with the idea that their heritage is all rubbish. Do you see? So what I'm going to do is we're going to use this heritage, but I'm going to clean it up and represent it so that you can leave these rooms with a sense of pride. Okay, come this way. That way. Okay. Right, is this everybody? Okay, can we all see these? Is this everybody? We're not waiting on these. The scope of civilizations, plural. And one of those civilizations was in the area of the Igbo territories. And an Igbo gentleman called Richard Anozia was digging a water cistern in his backyard in 1938. And what he discovered through digging that water cistern was a lost civilization of the Igbos. And these pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm noticing people's reaction. You're thinking, what? So what? Do you realize those pieces are leaded bronze? Are we feeling that? Leaded bronze is 4 metals worked together. Yes? Copper plus tin plus lead plus silver. And we're understanding that those pieces are 9th century. That means 800 and something AD. Made out of 4 metals. Are we feeling this? So the question then is, how were they made? They were made using a technique called lost wax. And lost wax is a technique where the manufacturing goes through 6. So the second layer on top of the clay, beeswax. And you're going to keep the beeswax 3 millimeters thick. Third stage, take a second layer of clay and put it around the outside of the structure. Fourth stage, put it into a kiln and fire it, knowing that the melting point of beeswax is lower than the melting point of clay. The beeswax runs out, leaving a 3 millimeter gap. Yes? Fifth stage, take your copper, your tin, your lead, and your silver, melt them and mix them and get them to flow through the mold so they start to take on these shapes. Does that make sense? And then the 6th stage is wait for everything to cool and harden. Now, I did a presentation at the University of Derby, and one of the engineering students got animated at this point because this is the same technique that is used to make car parts today. This is 9th century Igbo. Now let's look at number 3. Can you see that it's perfectly hemispherical? We've got the repeated patterns, and these are 4 metals worked together. Look at number 4, where you've got, looks like one tube has been melted into this work of abstract art. So this is how the Igbos were going on 9th century. The next civilization in the Nigeria region is the Yoruba civilization. Now, Yoruba myth says that a man landed from heaven called Oduduwa and landed in a city called Ile-Ife, which is in Yoruba land. And there he handed out 16 crowns. And this art tradition are portraits of the kings. The kings are known as Onis, right? And right now there is still an Oni of Ife, and he came to visit Britain about 3 years ago. I don't know if you guys know about that. Big event, big things, he came to visit the black community. Anyway, this is his ancestor. Now, take a look at Now, if a face like that was in any other part of Africa other than West Africa, what would they be saying? They say it's white. And had that been in ancient Egypt, they would say the ancient Egyptians were white. But because it's in West Africa, it's in Yoruba land, they have to say he's a true Negro. Do you see? Now if you look around at all of us, look at our faces, you'll see that some of us have got broad, flat faces, some of us have got kind of narrow, long faces, and we're all Negroes. Do you see?
I might find a form in my melanin. Great state I'm in all states I'm in. I might find a form in my melanin. Great state I'm in all states I'm in. I might find a form in my melanin. Great state I'm in all states I'm in. I might find a form in my melanin. Black power.